Hello, everyone. Welcome to your practice. This is a Vinyasa class, and my name is Tessa. So thanks for joining me today. I'm gonna head to our mats and take child's pose to start out. If that feels okay on your knees. If it doesn't, you can always just roll onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. So don't feel like you have to force yourself in any position. That's never the goal. Never ever the goal of a yoga asana practice. The goal is to learn how to discern what is appropriate for you, when to make adjustments, when to modify, so that the practice is customized to your body and your needs. So with that in mind, take your child's pose, whatever that looks like. If you like, you could stretch your arms forward. You can also bend at the elbows and place the backs of the hands underneath the forehead. Sometimes it feels a little bit more gentle on the shoulder heads. Start to allow the hips to be heavy. Maybe even close the eyes. If you like, you can add a little gentle shift from side to side here. I like to roll my forehead right to left. It's kind of like a little myofascial release for the tissue right above the eyes. Start to become aware of the breath. And as you breathe in, can you take a little bit longer? Imagine as if you could make space in between the vertebrae on the back body. And notice what that feels like to breathe in consciously to the back body. Take about 3 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, we'll come forward to hands and knees, to tabletop. If you had your knees wide, you can move your knees right underneath your hips and your wrists right underneath your shoulders and begin to move through some articulation of the spine. It can be cat-cow, which is more of a linear movement, so like straight forward and straight back. It can be barrel rolls through the chest, which is a little bit more circumnavigation, a little bit less linear. You can let your head and your neck get involved. And first and foremost, check in with the breath. If you are going through that circumnavigation, the barrel rolls through the rib cage, you would want to go both directions. So you can pause and start to go the opposite direction in that circular shape. Take about 2 more breaths in your movement, your articulation of the spine, whatever it is that it's looking like, just 2 more breaths here. And then we'll layer on bit by bit. So we'll inhale, pull the heart forward, finding that little bit of a back bend. You could even walk your wrists forward, maybe drop the hips down. So it's kind of like a lazy upward facing dog. Again, just being mindful of your choice. Does that feel appropriate for your hips and your low back? And then exhale to press to the hands, round the spine, curl the chin into the chest, Send the hips back towards the heels, towards child's pose. We'll do that a few times. So we'll inhale, we'll come forward. And you find a back bend that works for you. So it could be that cow shape. It could be also dropping the hips down and forward. It could be more like upward facing dog. And then pressing through the hands, rolling the spine towards the ceiling, hips towards the heels. Head relax, child's pose. And we'll try that 3 times. So you get to add on your own depth, your own cadence. See if you can utilize the inhale to pull the heart forward. And utilize the exhale to pull the hips back. So try it twice more on your own. The next time the hips move back towards the heels, pausing in child's pose once more. 2 full breaths there. Inhale, come forward to tabletop. Let's warm up the wrist here. We'll turn the fingertips towards the knees. They don't have to point all the way back towards the knees, but that's the direction they're moving towards. Palms of the hands still on the mat. And then you might add some rocking motion forward, backward. So the heels of the hands can lift away from the mat. You might notice some different sensation moving across the forearm and the knuckles and the wrists. Notice your breath. And then come forward, turn the fingertips to point forward. And then maybe, sometimes it's hard to do this if there's a lot of tension in the wrist. So be gentle again, and you might do this one hand at a time. Fingertips of one hand can point back towards the knees while the palm this time points up towards the armpit. So palm faces up, fingertips point towards the knees. And again, you can find that rocking motion forward, backward. You can do both hands together at once if the wrists will allow. Pay attention to the breath here. If you're doing one hand at a time, switch that out, opposite palm up. Fingertips point towards the knees. And then let's normalize the hands, curl the toes under, sit back on the heels, a little bit of stretch for soles of the feet. Make sure the pinky toes are coming straight forward. You can always stand up on your knees if that's too much to sit back on the heels. Now we'll just circle out the wrists here. Go both directions. And then last couple of breaths here, let's reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling, lengthen out through the arms, and begin to flick the fingers up towards the ceiling like you're trying to dry water from your hands. Keep breathing. Burning sensation, challenging, all of that is good. That's what we're looking for to strengthen the tendons and the ligaments and the muscles around forearms and wrists and hands. Really good for weight-bearing positions like high plank and downward facing dog. One more breath here, big breath in. And then exhale, relax the arms. You can swing them alongside the body. All right, we're going to come to downward facing dog. So palms forward, fingers spread wide. Engage your fingertips into the mat. Toes curl under. Lift the knees, move the hips up and back. Start to pedal out through the legs. Let your first downward facing dog be exploratory. Come back to your breath over and over again.
Notice how the body feels in this shape. Where does it feel strong? Where does it feel weak? And just notice these opposing sensations without judgment, without color. It's just a noticing, a curiosity. We'll shift forward into high plank. Big breath in here. Pause. Can you feel the whole palm rooting down, including your fingertips gripping the mat as you reach the crown of the head forward and the heel bones back? Feel your inner thighs squeeze together. Big breath in. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Big breath out. Let's walk the hands back to meet the feet. Hands walk back to meet the feet. You can come to the fingertips if the floor is too far away. Bring your feet about outer hip width distance apart. Begin to rock the weight forward, backward. Bend the knees as much as you need to get the fingertips to help stabilize the rocking forward and backward. Relax your head, let it be heavy. And then find the circumference of the foot, let it be rooted. So heel bone, ball end of the foot, toes, all of that's relaxed and evenly weighted. Fingertips crawl up to the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, refold. Inhale, start to reverse, uncurl the spine. Head coming up last. And then breathe in when you get to the top. If you feel a little dizzy here, that's normal. Just allow your chin to tuck in towards your chest. Relax your arms. Roll your shoulders down your back. So we'll move through a few Surya Namaskar A, and then we'll add on to our flow from there. Surya Namaskar A is a traditional sun salutation. It's meant to warm the body, increase circulation and blood flow, and prepare the body for the Vinyasa. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, get the hands to the mat. Walk your hands forward, lengthening out into high plank. Exhale, knees to the mat, coming all the way to the belly. Elbows stay close to the rib cage. Forehead on the mat. Press down through the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the chin. Keep the neck nice and long. Exhale, lower, release. Curl the toes under, pressing up to either tabletop or high plank. And then downward facing dog. 2 breaths here, reset. One more breath in. Breath out. Walk the hands backward to meet the feet. Inhale, fingertips to shins, lengthen the heart forward, halfway lift. Exhale, refold. Inhale, root through the feet, coming all the way to standing. And this time as you come to standing, arms circle out and up, breathing in, arms overhead. Exhaling, forward fold. So we'll continue with that, Vinyasa. Bend the knees enough to get the hands to the mat. Walk yourself out to high plank here, no rush. Pause, breathe in. Exhale, either knees to the mat or just bending the elbows. You can move through chaturanga if that's in your practice. You can press up to upward facing dog if you feel ready for that. And then exhale, meeting back and downward facing dog. You can always replace downward facing dog with a child's pose as well. Let's take 2 breaths here. Start to walk the hands back to meet the feet. Uttanasana, back of the mat. Inhale, Arta Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, standing all the way up, back of the mat, arms circle out and up. Exhale, we'll come back to our forward fold one last time through Surya Namaskar A. Bend your knees enough to get the hands to the mat. Walk yourself forward, high plank. One breath in here, pause, get nice and long through the whole body. And then exhale, lower, halfway or all the way. Inhale, find that back bend of choice. Exhale, either child's pose or downward facing dog. Settle, 2 deep breaths. Relax your head. Now this time, from downward facing dog, we'll lift our heels, bend our knees, and we'll start to make our way forward to the top of the mat. Forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Keep that halfway lift, and then as you exhale, bend the knees and sink the hips a little bit lower. So belly can rest on the thighs here for a moment. Feel your weight into your heel bones and then lift the chest, lift the hands maybe to the heart, or you can stretch your arms straight forward. Feel your tailbone tuck under slightly so you're getting some length in the low back. And then stand all the way up, arms reach overhead. Exhale, pull your elbows wide, press your chest forward, squeeze your glutes, hips forward. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, the hands to the waist. Step that left foot back behind you. And then spin that left heel down to the mat. Wiggle those right toes forward a few inches, bend the right knee. Arms stretch out wide, warrior 2. Relax your shoulders, stretch through your opposite fingertips in opposite direction. Root down through your left heel bone. Feel your left thigh engaged. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Press your right leg to straight, and then start to tick-tock your hips side to side. A couple of times here, it's a subtle movement, tick-tocking the hips side to side. Should feel fairly good on the hips. Left hand to left hip, right arm's going to reach forward and down, coming towards Trikonasana. Just kind of starting off with the base here, the foundation of the feet and the legs, a little micro bend in that right knee. Make sure you're accessing the muscle of the quad. Rolling that left shoulder, left hip open towards the ceiling, and then maybe adding the left arm reaching upward. Stay light on your right fingertips. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to move this forward into Arta Chandrasana, balancing on that right leg. So I like to take my left hand to my left hip, rebend the right knee, look down at the right toes, and reach forward with the right arm. Plant my fingertips helps to stabilize the balance here. As I launch my body forward, balancing on that right foot allows me to lift my left leg, keeping that left hip open towards the ceiling, same with the left shoulder. And then again, option to extend that left arm towards the ceiling. So flex the left toes towards the face. Allow your right ankle to wobble a little bit. This is helpful for building muscles around the ankle joint. Even if you fall out, that's okay. Take one more big breath in here. Big breath out. We're going to land back in warrior 2. So reach back with that left foot, bend the right knee, soft landing warrior 2. Breathe in. Breathe out. Right leg move towards straight. Right foot parallel with the left foot.
Hands on the hips, press the hips forward. And then exhale, we'll forward fold. Hands come right underneath the shoulders. Relax here with your head. Let your spine lengthen out. And then start to bend right and left into the knees. Bend right and left into the knees. So wide-legged forward fold with a little a little lateral movement side to side. Keep relaxing your head here. Let the back of the neck be nice and long. A couple more breaths. And then hands walk back underneath the shoulders. Find that halfway lift. Hug your navel into your spine. Press down through the feet. Little bend in those knees. Hands to the waist. And then standing all the way up. We're going to turn our left toes to the back of the mat. Bend the left knee. So you're winding up in your warrior two stance here. So everything we just did, we'll do it on the second side. Arms spread out wide, warrior two. Relax your shoulders. This time find a little rotation of the palms up and the palms down. You're just rotating the shoulders in their sockets. Palms up, palms down. Stay rooted in your back right foot. Feel that engagement of the right thigh. Press that left leg towards straight. And then right hand to the right hip. Reach forward and down with your left hand. Gently rest it on the shin or the floor if that feels close enough. And then as you feel your right shoulder peel open, your right hip peels open, right arm can lift. Find your breath here. Find that foundation of the legs. Can you get a little bit light in that left hand? I'm going to take this forward into our balancing standing pose, half moon, Arta Chandrasana on the left side. Right hand to right hip. Left hand reaches forward, left knee bends. You can use your left fingertips to help you balance here as you launch the weight forward onto that left foot, float the right leg up. Flex the toes towards the face. And then option to raise that right arm. Notice if this side feels different in terms of balance, strength, ease, effort. Again, can you approach that discernment with a sense of curiosity without judgment of it being right or wrong or good enough? Just notice what is. One more breath here. Right hand back to the right hip. I'm going to take that soft landing into warrior two. Torso lifts up, arms spread out, deep breath in. Deep breath out, press that left leg towards straight. And then we're going to take the toes out to the corners of the mat and the heels in. Bending the knees so you can sink the hips into goddess. And then I always like to walk my feet forward. So my feet are more underneath the knee joint and less underneath the hips. Feet underneath the knee joints and less underneath the hips. So that allows me to sit up nice and tall here and have some nice length in my low back. Okay, so we'll flow this a little bit with our breath. We'll press into those feet. Inhale, stretch the arms out and up, lengthen out through those legs. And then exhale, it's like you're pressing energy or air down through the center midline of your body as you settle back into your seat. Inhale, feel that buoyancy as you stand up. And then exhale, feel that depth, that stability as you press down. Try that 3 more times. Inhale. So muscles, leg muscles engaged. Exhale, sit low. Twice more. One more time. Good. And then pause here for a moment, hands on the thighs. Just sink the weight a little bit lower You take a beat here, breathe. Good. And then release the legs. We're going to turn to face the top of the mat once more. You can step your left foot forward. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Chair pose. Deep breath in. Deep breath out, forward fold.
And let the hips lift. So options here with the hands and the legs in your forward fold. Last one we're going to take of class. Feet a little bit wider, so outer width hip distance apart. Bend your knees, deep, deep, deep bend in the knees. Pick up the feet. You can slide the hands, the palms of the hands right underneath the sole of the foot. Let your elbows pull out wide. Let your head relax. Kind of like a monkey, right? You can sway some weight right to left. Keep relaxing your head. Take 2 more breaths here. And then if you have your hands underneath your feet, release that. Start to bend your knees, deep, deep, deep bend in the knees until your heels have to lift. And then you can help yourself all the way down to a seat. Come to the back body. Lay down on your mat. Hug your right knee into your chest. Extend your left leg forward. Squeeze that right thigh in towards the right chest. Flex the left toes towards the face. See if you can get your left leg a little bit straighter. And then relax the foot. Pull that right knee across the body so you're rolling onto your left hip. You're coming into a twist here. Reach the right arm off to the right side. If you have a prop at home nearby, you can always slide something underneath the inner right thigh, the inner right knee. If you don't have a prop close by, you can bend that left knee underneath the right knee. That can be your prop, your leg. So we're finding this supine rotation. Supine just means you're lying on your back. Take 3 breaths here. Relax your head, relax your neck, relax your jaw. Maybe let your eyes close. Let's unwind. We'll come back through center. Let that right leg stretch out to meet the left leg. Pause here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And now hug your left knee into your chest. If you can, extend the right leg long, flex the right toes towards the face. See if you can get that right leg a little bit more towards straight as you're squeezing and pulling your left thigh towards the left chest. So there's compression there, and there is some effort. You can use your biceps to squeeze. And so I'm interlacing my hands over the top of the left shin. If that's not accessible to you, you can always grab the back of the thigh. Relax your feet. We're going to pull that left thigh across the body, rolling onto the right hip, keeping the chest open, left arm reaching off to the left, back of the head heavy. Maybe there's a prop underneath the inner left knee. Or maybe you're bending your right knee up underneath your left knee. Find that supine twist, find that stillness. 3 deep breaths here. Okay, slowly, when you're ready, start to unwind.
Lengthen out onto the back. If you need to make any adjustments or add any props, you can absolutely do that. You're more than welcome. I'm going to head into our 1-minute Shavasana here. And so all that I ask is that you find a place where you can be still, whatever that shape looks like. Just give yourself 1 minute. Deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Let it go, let it rest. Shavasana. I always advocate for you to stay longer if you have the time. Of course, if you need to move on and go about your day, start to wiggle fingertips and toes. Circle out through the wrist. If you have space above you, you can stretch your arms overhead, breathing into the length of the body. If you're on your back, you can roll off to a side, pass through fetal position. Taking a moment to rise up to a comfortable seat and close out our practice here. Maybe one hand on the belly, maybe one hand on the heart. Take a moment to make this tangible connection with the body. It actually releases dopamine. Breathe into the hands. And then if you like, you can bow your chin into the chest, taking a moment to honor your effort, your practice with reverence and gratitude. To all of our teachers, past, present, future, to the teacher within your own heart. Namaste, yogis. Thank you so much for being with me today, for practicing, for carving out the time for yourself. Hope you take care of yourselves and come back as soon as you can.